Hello, Aries. Let's take a look at the current energy around you right now. And then I'm going to look at you first and then the person that's in your energy or who's coming towards you. Plus, I always look at Aries to Pisces at the end. So if you have somebody on your mind, specific zodiac, we'll tap into that as well. All right. So the overall energy for you this week is showing up as the Seven of Cups. All right. A lot of options, a lot of ideas, a lot of what ifs, a lot of maybes, a lot on your mind. All right. So this can be a very confusing type of energy. It can bring a sense of uncertainty to your situation. You know, you feel something, you want something, but you're not quite sure, you know, if it's going to turn out the way you want it to. Sometimes this card can show up when we're trying to make something more than it is. And we're really truly not fulfilled even with our choices that we have. So you could find yourself feeling a little bit stuck even with boredom. And sometimes in this energy, we'll tend to reach for the best choice. And sometimes that's an ex that we shouldn't, you know, or that's somebody that's been avoiding us, or somebody that we just don't even know, you know, what's going on, but we still persist at the situation because we want something to move. We don't like being in the energy of uncertainty or confusion. So we've got to choose one. And so that's what most of us will do. And then we'll go for it. And then if it doesn't pan out the way we want it to, it can cause more damage for us than it was meant to in the first place, right? And so we're going to dive into that, the overall energy. I do see the King of Cups underneath that. So some of you, it's really a lot of emotional energy for you right now. So you may be in your fields, you know, and you know, really wanting to connect with somebody. And that's why you're all over the place, maybe with what I should do. Now, there could be a person with water energy, Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio, that you're connected to. It does show me an energy of somebody around you. So even if you're single at this point, keep in mind that those two cards as the overall energy is showing me that you have potential. There are options for you, and there could be somebody around you that may be trying to get your attention, you know? So always stay open to the possibilities with that card. So let's look at you first. We have the Sun energy. What's your biggest challenge? The Nine of Swords. All right. Always trying to stay positive, right? But you still got some worries that come up and still some things that come around and haunt you. Now, this to me tells me one thing is that you're tired of stressing. You really are trying to look at the bright side of things and stay positive. But you may have a lot of stuff going on around you and other people, and that energy itself could be stressing you out as well, like other people's opinions of what you should do. This tells me that you're worrying a little bit too much about what other people might be thinking. And it doesn't mean that it's written on your face like you care, like you're asking people. But inside, it could be something someone is saying or has said to you about the choices that you have, or why not to make a choice, or, you know, and it can just be other people's noise in your head that is influencing you other than your own. So the Sun card tells me to really trust yourself right now. You really got to trust your judgment. That's inner trust. That's your solar plexus. That's courage. That's, you know, this is growth for you. Being able to see that some of the choices that you have for you this week are maybe not benefiting you, and you know it, right? So this is where the Seven of Cups can become difficult, because, you know, the reason why there isn't a choice is because ultimately you're not feeling trust or growth or full potential. And you may even feel like you can't even fully express yourself with the options that are available. Now, if you're connecting with just one person and they're constantly making you feel a little bit uncertain, this is where some of you like ultimately just try to show up the best you can. And there's always something that's going on beneath the surface that makes you kind of regret your actions. It's like, why am I wasting my energy on this? Or why is this bringing me down? You know, when typically this will tell me that you're somebody that looks for the best in others or looks for the best in your situation, and you try to stay optimistic about everything. But then there's just the reality of the people that you might be dealing with are really bringing some sort of negative aspect to the situation that is wearing you down. But the Seven of Cups, if there's no other choice, your choice is, what do I do here? Do I walk away from things that are uncertain, that truly aren't fulfilling me? Or do I really give this a shot? But this here is telling a different story. So how are you viewing the situation or your person? And I see the Seven of Swords, Aries, you know so before I get into the Seven of Swords, because it can feel like you're sick of lying to yourself. You're sick of denying, your truth, right? Deep inside that you're doing the best you can, and you just want maybe to be seen, maybe somebody to be seen. But I do feel like if somebody were to come into your life that felt like they really truly saw you and they made you feel like you could expand and be honest and speak your truth, I feel like you would leave whatever situation that you're dealing with right now in a heartbeat. It's just a lot of you are getting stuck in this uncertainty, and it feels like you don't know whether to trust yourself or trust the situation or trust this person. Now, the Nine of Swords is the challenge though. It sounds to me like you've seen this before. So let's look at your energy of the person that's coming in, their challenge, how they view you, and what could be shifting this week in this energy. So your person, the Four of Cups, right? This can be a difficult card to pull for a person because you can't tell if somebody truly wants you or they're acting like they don't want you or they're just mad, kind of being in their own energy, depressed, maybe not certain about something in their life. But the bottom line with this card is somebody's not seeing the love that you're giving them. Somebody's not open to or to receive, and so it may feel like somebody's constantly pushing you away or avoiding you, or they just don't see your worth. They don't see what you're doing. All right. But with this card here, it feels like you're dealing with somebody that, wants everything to stay casual and fun, or wants things, as soon as they get serious or as soon as they start to turn, this person might be looking elsewhere or just looking for the next best thing, right? That's the only thing I don't like about this card is you are the top choice, but you're dealing with somebody here that's trying to fill a void through maybe constant connections with other people or just keeping their options open, right? Like something better might come along. And you clearly, the Sun card, are optimal, and it's like you may see this, and with this Seven of Swords that something's off with your person. Now, keep in mind that this is just a weekly reading, and for whatever reason your person is pulling their energy away and acting disinterested, could be a temporary energy that you've been dealing with right now, but it doesn't make it right. So we're just trying to work through this energy right now. It's not the outcome of your situation, but right now they are really stressing you out and making you feel like either you've done something wrong or you just can't figure out what the hell, or you just keep trying and keep trying, but this person keeps kind of pushing you away. And for many of you, this could be the cycle that you find yourself in with many people. This might not just be one person. It's just like you may feel like this person's all into you at first, and then as soon as they've got your attention and you really start to give this person your attention, then they pull away, and that's when you start to, why did I do this again? Why am I doing this? Why do I keep falling for this BS, right? So let's see their biggest challenge with you. And I see the Ace of Wands. You're dealing with a person right now that is in the moment type of person. They love the excitement, they love the passion, they love when things get hot, or they love the initial attraction with you, right? And this is somebody here that as soon as things start to get serious or as soon as things die out a little bit, this person goes quiet, right? And this is a pattern, and this person is addicted to the pattern. Now, what's coming through for me is you're dealing with somebody who's avoiding some sort of hole in their own heart, all right, is a way to put it. You know, they are constantly getting themselves caught up in unhealthy relationships, right? Or they find themselves getting in relationships and unhealthy, and before they start to lose their vibrancy, this person backs away. All right, so they are an excitement seeker, right? They like the falling in love at first sight. They love the passion, they love the excitement, but then it dies out quick. And that's where, you know, you're wanting growth, and you are, and so what I'm feeling here right now is you may be dealing with somebody here who's just, you know, uses the addiction of the initial excitement in a relationship as a way to make them feel alive for a second. And then they get pulled back into a depression, or they get pulled back into a cycle where they're just feeling unfulfilled themselves. Now, this for you can make you feel like you're doing something wrong, but you're trying to connect with somebody who has other things going on within that they need to fill before they get into a healthy relationship. And you coming in as the sun may feel like, I am ultimately, you know, positive. I know that my energy, I know that I can make this happen. I know that I can make this person smile. But that's a great person to be around, and I love people like you. But the thing is people like this drain your energy after a while, because where at first you might be able to see that it's not you, you're being the sun in this person's sky. Eventually, people like this can still bring you down, because it'll chip away at your soul. You know, because you're not getting any improvement with the situation. And you usually walk away feeling guilty, or feeling like you did something, or feeling even some sort of shame, maybe that you thought you could do something different and it didn't work out, right? So how do they view you in this situation? I see the Four of Wands. You definitely are somebody that brings light to this person's life, okay? They feel very comfortable with you, but because they feel comfortable with you, they are getting comfortable in their ways of being able to start things up, and then they dim them down before things get too serious, right? They know you're solid. You're somebody that brings them a sense of peace, contentment, right? And this is where maybe you're a little bit more grounded, and you have better people around you, or you've got a better support system, right? And you're just very happy. And I don't want to say this, but it just feels like maybe this person is even a little bit envious of how happy you are, how exciting you are. All right. You bring out a part of this person that they wish they could feel or be or get to, right? And that could be where you're seeing this part of this person's soul, but we cannot fix people. All right. So what's shifting with them this week? What might you be able to expect from this energy, if there's any shift? And what does spirit think you should do regardless of what's going on with this person? So your person, the Wheel of Fortune. All right. So this does tell me be careful, because this person here is still coming back around. This is a cycle that you are in, but it feels like an on again, off again cycle, right? And you're taking your chances again. And the Seven of Swords is telling me you already know you can't trust this situation. You know, this is, you're hoping that in time this person will see, this person will grow, and maybe they will. There's no reason to look at the outcome right now. Maybe this person will see what they got, right? Or see what they're missing. If you back away from this person for a second to you know, be like, every time they come in, you get excited because you see the positive, you see the potential. But that's the cycle you're on, is you're getting involved with somebody because you see potential in them, rather than what they're showing up with right now, because you have to see them for who they are right now before things actually evolve. Now, this person could have ultimate potential, but you have to protect your energy, because right now you can see that it's really taking its toll on you. So we can always give somebody the benefit of the doubt, and we can let them prove themselves to us. But until they do, we've got to protect our own, you know, our own path, our own energy. And the Wheel of Fortune is also saying that things could turn around this week. You may be able to disrupt the pattern. You may be able to do something a little bit different, but it's going to take mistake. What does Spirit think you should do? The Five of Swords, right? This is, there's no more figuring out, what else you could say or do, no more pleading your case, no more, listening to talk, act. It's more about actions. It's more about the way somebody makes you feel. So going back to the Sun card, if somebody comes back around this week and you're still feeling confused, that Seven of Cups, remember, you're still feeling confused about this and you're trying to figure it out. This card here says it's a no-win situation with this one. It's on again, off again. This person is still showing up confusing you. And, it's sort of like, I wouldn't fight it or try to plead your case again. And also pay attention to things they're saying because they might not be 100% truthful. All right. And it doesn't mean they're a bad person. It's just that they're not being 100% honest. They may be speaking from a place of, I'm in a good mood today, rather than what's realistically all the time. Right. And the Seven of Cups is saying, this is where, are you trying to believe in something that is just ultimately not fulfilling you? And it's scary to decide where you're going to place this. Am I just going to put this on hold for a little bit until somebody truly shows up for me? But I wouldn't stop anything else you're doing for this person. Just know they're going to try and come around again. And it's going to be the same on again, off again type of energy. So let's look at Aries through Pisces really quick and just you. All right. Aries, Queen of Cups. So Aries definitely has feelings for you. There is this Queen of Cups. You have feelings for somebody. It feels like we're emotionally bonded, but there's more of a nurturing energy here. It does feel like, Aries, you're trying to nurture or mother the situation in a way. It doesn't matter your gender, but you care. Somebody's pulling at your heartstrings, right? And you think you can fix something. But this is going to be a week where it's more about protecting your own feelings. And it's okay to hold space for this person, but not fall for it yet until you actually see action. Because the problem with your person is they're showing up and they're starting things, but they're not taking the next step and they're not taking action here. So they're always kind of leaving you in this, all right, what's happening next type of energy. Now, Taurus, I see the Magician card. All right. So the problem with the Magician card is the Seven of Swords for you. You can't always tell if they're being real with you. And so you can feel the attraction between you and a Taurus. So we can see them showing up. They're very attracted to you, but there could be some doubt of whether or not you can trust your Taurus this week. But there's also potential. And you see that this card here talks about, yes, there's so much potential in this relationship, but you are not able to ground in and grow with this until you can trust it. Gemini, Two of Cups. So there may be a heartfelt conversation this week. Maybe we are, a breakthrough. This could be a breakthrough conversation with you and Gemini. Cancer, Three of Wands, right? There's a turning point here with the Three of Wands too. You may see movement this week. So with Cancer, we see them coming back around. Maybe you can get things to actually finally start to move forward. There may be a break in the energy here where we're making progress. Leo, Six of Swords, all right? So just be careful. Leo may try to tuck things under the rug so you guys smooth over. But this guy's smirk here always gets me. I just see it. It's like, all right, we're moving on. We're getting past that one. I got another, get out of jail free card, right? And here we go. But you can see that there's not much has changed on this expression. They're just getting away with it. So you want to be careful. There's still movement, but you're programming your Leo to get away with whatever it is they're doing. Virgo, Ten of Swords, right? So this is where you may find this week that you've either finally had a breakthrough with this Ten of Swords and you're seeing the light. Now, the Sun card rules the Ten of Swords. So oftentimes it can be a breakup, but with the Sun card showing up, it says the most difficult part's over. So this also could be a breakthrough with you and Virgo. For the most part, you're either getting the clarity, you're seeing the truth, and you're either deciding to move on from this, or you guys are actually growing from it. But the best part about it is the luck's on your side. So whatever you choose to do or whatever you want from this, it seems like it's more likely you're going to get what you want from this situation. Libra, I see the Emperor card. All right, so Libra showing up as big boss, right? You know, the Emperor doesn't always mean somebody's going to show up and be responsible, but they show up definitely better intentions, more confidence. So you may have more confidence in your Libra this week and feeling like you are building something a little bit more stable. Scorpio, the Hierophant. All right. So I just always see this as, you know, we've learned our lesson. We've got something here. There is something growing. But also for you with the Wheel of Fortune, it can be, have you learned your lesson, right? Or have they learned their lesson? So this is a reminder here to check your, you know, check the situation up. There could be an ascendant, you know, you could be leveling up in a connection with the Scorpio here. You both could be finally realizing how loyal you are to each other in this bond, you know, but at the same time, there could be still a lesson being learned, and you may have to be patient with your Scorpio as well, too, if they haven't learned it yet. Sagittarius, Knight of Wands, showing up as Sagittarius energy, all right? So this can be very fiery, very passionate, very quick, very sexy, very awesome, you know, that fun shit, and then it can be over as soon as it starts. You do see a Knight here, and Knights to me tend to be kind of selfish and self-centered in a good, you know, they're in that time of their life where they've got to figure out what they want to do and go mode, and sometimes we get caught up in that. But there is definitely a lot of potential here with you and Sag, because you guys seem to both kind of look at the bright side of things and really want to make it work. So I see positive movement here with Sag. Capricorn, Eight of Pentacles, all right? Also, I see, you know, kind of more grounded energy. So whatever Capricorn's going through right now, if they're feeling like they're avoiding you a little bit, they could be really focused on something in their life that they know they need to take care of, and that is why they're drained, right? But I do see them invested in this and still maybe even showing up this week trying to be more consistent. Aquarius, Page of Swords, right? So we're seeing communication, but it can be kind of, you know, with this rest of this energy, it can seem like things are always just, you know, words, right? We're always talking, we're always messaging, we're always connecting, but are we making any plans? So whenever this person's in a good mood, they text. Whenever they're in a bad mood or a negative mood, or they just want to avoid you, they go silent. All right. And it can cause a lot of frustration in text. So just know that your Aquarius is showing up, still being kind of like, here I am, let's talk. You know, maybe you guys will find yourself communicating this week. It definitely, that's where it could be risky with your Aquarius. Pisces, I see the Lovers card. So if there's another lover, then you know the story. But if there's not, it's just you have somebody here that every time they start to get really close in a relationship, they may get triggered, right? So they may, you know, avoid emotional connection, all right? But I do see the bond. There could be a breakthrough between the two of you, because this kind of energy tells me that both of you kind of can get caught up in each other and not resist each other. So be careful of trauma bonding with something like that. I love you guys. Let me do a yes, no for you if you have your own question. And here we go. Think of your question. You have a yes. And you also have Leo, Jupiter, and you have the Six of Wands. So feeling recognized, right? So some of you too, this card tells me that you could be getting attention this week, especially with the Sun card here showing up in your position, which means, you know, you're lit up, you know? So if you think you don't have options, right, people are seeing you. And this could be showing up to something new, showing up to a show, showing up to some friends, showing up to plans, you know, somebody showing up for you this week. But I am seeing here a win, you know, you finally getting some sort of recognition in some way, you know, do something that you've been doing. And maybe you are finally moving on from something too, because this can be like, you know, watch me go and look at me, you know, look how good I am, you know, and this is where you may actually have the biggest win by making a choice to choose yourself. I have the Fool card at the bottom here, and that kind of wraps up the whole energy here. Feels like you have somebody that, you know, jumps in. Things just are constantly, you know, restarting. So on, off, right? I love you guys. Take care.